My final one for you, and this is actually based on our conversation, which always makes me so happy that you come onto the show. It's like leading me right into it. And this is the surprise one. I did not tell you about this before the show. Brendan Sugrue joining us here on Sports Talk Chicago with Joey Christopoulos, filling in for John Zaglul. My final one for you is I'm a big Chicago sports era guy. In my personal opinion, I think we are coming off of one of the perhaps, if not the golden era, one of the best eras that we have seen in Chicago sports, I think in the last 100 years at least. And we can play the history on it, comment and question below on YouTube if you want to. But 2003, and it's not always in a 10-year interval, right? So I'm not always trying to be this arbitrary even number 10 years. Sometimes they're 8, sometimes they're 12. This last one was about 14 years. From 2003, 2004-ish range to 2018, which culminated with the Chicago Bears and the double doink. Ever since then, Brendan, in my opinion, these last 6 years, we are in a drought. We are in a dark, cold, awful place of Chicago sports, the likes of which that I don't think we've probably seen since, I believe, probably the 98 to the 2002, 2003 era. My question for you is, do you see the light at the end of the tunnel? Caleb, Connor Bedard, Angel Reese, the Chicago Cubs, the White Sox milkshake, do not forget. Do you see an end of this drought coming in the next year or two, or do you think it might be a couple more years before we can say maybe, hey, this is another glory era for Chicago sports?
Wow. Yeah. You're right about this being the worst era. I mean, just consecutive seasons, consecutive years without a playoff team in the Big Four sports. And, you know, you had the Chicago Sky win a championship, and I'm all for women's sports becoming more prevalent in today's society. Like, you know, the Chicago Sky are definitely a thing now. It can't be worse. It literally cannot be worse. This was the golden era.
The White Sox just said, hold my beer. The White Sox just said, hold my beer, but please keep going. Yeah.
Hold my shake. This really was the race to number one overall picks. I mean, the Bears getting it, the Hawks getting it, the Bulls even threatening for it. They got the number 4 pick in 2020. The White Sox should be, if it wasn't for this damn lottery that they have to deal with. So it cannot be worse, because the amount of teams that have just been picking inside the top 5, I don't think it's going to be that same case going forward. I think a number of these organizations are doing it the right way. The Hawks, we mentioned, definitely doing it the right way. Sometimes luck plays into it with landing Connor Bedard when they had the 3rd best odds. And then, of course, the Bears with Caleb Williams making that phenomenal trade that should go down as one of the best/worst or most lopsided, I would say, in terms of production.
Trade that's not over yet, by the way. We still have that. The trade is not, the story has not been completed with that trade yet. Yeah,
exactly. So I do see the light at the end of the tunnel now, because of the fact that these teams are building it the right way. They're building an infrastructure that should cater to winning around these younger players. When the Bears got Justin Fields, yes, we were all excited, and we talked about that earlier, but it was fool's gold, because they were chasing something and just trying to fill in gaps and do whatever it took to save their jobs. And we saw the type of structure that was around Fields. Coaches get fired, and you're just in a very weird situation. Is there hope for the Bulls and White Sox at this point? Maybe not. That's the Reinsdorf effect, unfortunately. I think you could say there's hope for the Cubs, too. They're a competitive baseball team again. And I know it's easy to look back and say for the last 10 years, like, well, yeah, they've kind of been that. They won the flippin' World Series, and they've made NLCSs. But even going back further, before the 108-year drought, it took a lot for them to get out of the bottom feeders. And they went through a rebuild, and now they're competitive again. So that gives me hope as well. So if you can have the majority of Chicago teams, and I'll throw the Sky in there as well, because I do like Cardoso and Angel Reese. I think Angel Reese is going to be the WNBA's Joakim Noah. She was an electric college player. A lot of people don't think that she's going to translate to the next level. She has just a personality that's out of this world. That's I'm trying to think of the word for it, but basically she's larger than life in a great way. And Joakim Noah was the same way. He wasn't supposed to be effective, and he turned out to be an all-star player. I think Angel Reese can do the same thing. So if you have the majority of those teams that are going to be competitive the next 2 to 4 years, then yes, that is light at the end of the tunnel, thankfully, and pray to God that we see at least one championship in the next 10 years.
Yeah, and hopefully she gets healthy soon. And man, yeah, Chicago loves a hardworking player that doesn't necessarily stuff the stat sheet up, but plays hard, has passion, and leads to winning. Most importantly, Chicagoans love that more than anything else. And I'm happy to call myself a Chicagoan once more. Brendan Sugrue, man, thank you so much for coming on to Sports Talk Chicago. Please plug your socials, plug the show, your fantastic Chicago Bears podcast, plug Bears Wire, whatever you want, man. Tease us when you're going to be on TV again. And if it isn't anytime soon, I'm upset, because we need more of you on there, man. You do such a great job. You've always been a good friend. I owe you a beef. I owe you a hot dog. I owe you a dinner. We're going to do it face-to-face soon, but please plug all your good stuff, and thanks for coming on.
I know. I'm so happy that you're here, because I know we were talking about meeting up, and we are going to meet up. This isn't one of those things where we talk about it and then we don't ever do it.
No, I'm not Jed Hoyer. I'm going to spend that money on you my friend.
No, I'm very appreciative always to come on and talk ball with you, and other different sports too. I know we talk a lot of Bears, but it's fun to delve in other areas. You can follow me on X, Twitter, at Brendan Sugrue. That's Sugrue. Make sure you check out my work at bearswire.com. My podcast is the Bear Down Chicago podcast. We definitely have to have you on, but we haven't had a show in a while, so that's the problem. But
it's May. Don't worry about it.
It is, yeah, but we'll have one soon. And then, funny enough, it's not going to be on TV because of the Sox game, but I will be on the Football Night in Chicago digital show tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
Breaking news. Scoop. Scoop. Oh, that's great, man. I love it. You do such a great job. It's not an easy gig, people, to do that. And Brendan comes on. Not only does he know his stuff, but he's super tight. He's funny. You bring everything to the table, man. Congratulations. I can't wait to watch. And guess what? I can now, because I'm out here. I got the cable. I got all the stuff. So I can't wait to watch.
Awesome, Joey. Appreciate it, man. Thank you again.
Thanks for coming on, Brendan. Cool. We're going to wrap up here on Sports Talk Chicago. Brendan Sugrue, thank you so much for coming on to the show here. I want to thank John Zaglul for having me sub in, having me sleep over at his house here to do a show. It was very, very nice of him. I promise I will not raid the fridge too much. I want to thank also our fantastic producer, John Meadows, at the controls, doing a great job as always. My final thoughts on just the end of the drought with the Chicago sports, just very quickly. I do think it's going to be another year or two. I think the goal here is, if the Chicago Cubs are playing a playoff game in October, the Bears are playing a playoff game in January, and the Blackhawks are playing a playoff game in April and May, I think Chicago sports fans, I think we should be elated, because that means year-round excitement for our teams. The Bulls and the White Sox are a different story, but I do think it is another year or two. But I think it's close. We're coming towards the end of the drought. I promise you. So hang in there, keep watching the show, and I promise you it's going to turn around really soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Follow us on all of our socials. Obviously, Instagram. Follow us on X. Sports Talk Shy is a great way to look us up. You can follow me at Joey Sports Guy. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube. Please subscribe, comment, question below. Please do tell your friends about the fantastic show. Also want to thank our fantastic radio affiliates in Illinois, broadcasting this show right now across the great state. 98.3 The Life, WKAN, W55 The Ticket, ACTV, JED-TV, WJOB, Cities 92.3 Talk FM, and 101.1 Peoria Sports Radio. I'm Joey Christopoulos. Be well, be safe. Please be good to each other. We're coming back at you next week, so make sure you tune in then. Until then, Sports Talk Chicago, we're out. See ya.